Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Launch, favorites podcast, favorites channel, favorites everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, and of course at Glen Rockney. And then, last but always not least, pandasubs.com, discount code TDL for 35% off. All right, guys. So we are doing our final mock draft. The draft is next week. Finally, it's been a long time coming for any type of football action. To be honest. So, I'm just happy that we're here. We're here. We're gonna be giving you guys all the coverage, but I'm excited to actually get to this point.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's. I feel like it should just be right after the Masters, the draft. Just do the draft right after the Masters. Just that week. I don't understand. Right now we're in like insane filler content mode, but for all these like big media outlets, the filler is often just like completely fake rumors. Like I feel like so it's kind of like, damn, instead of just speculating like we're gonna do today and having some fun, so many of these people need to just tear down everybody's idea of how the draft's going to go. And it's just, I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be something that, I think the Raiders are going to hopefully have a good draft. I mean, Telesco, he has a good history of first and second round picks.
Yeah.
So, whatever he does, he usually picks the right guy. I mean, it's more about like the fifth and those picks. But the Raiders only have, after the fourth round, they only have three picks. So they don't have no sixth.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's going to be a quick draft, basically, for Raiders fans. I mean, unless they do some trading back, which he's never done. So that's something that's going to be new if he does it. But if it's something that we shouldn't go for. He's pretty stubborn. Okay, he's pretty stubborn. Yeah, 3-man live reaction. I think it might be a 2-man because Matt has to do a lot of work, but he'll be in and out. For sure, he'll probably be there.
Yeah, if I'm off, I'll be there. If I'm off in time, I will be. I will be here. That's
you know what I'm saying. So you guys might just be hanging out with me, which is fine. Which is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I think a couple years ago I was live by myself like 4 hours.
So. I did. I Alex Leatherwood one. I almost cried on my couch by myself. There were like 6 people watching. Man, it was rough.
Oh man,
the real heads remember. Yeah,
I should post my reaction out so they'll get getting picked too, man.
It was tough.
I was devastated.
It was tough. It was tough.
All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about, of course, our final mock draft. We got the, a big, kind of the last one of the season because basically there's going to be no more after this point. I mean, next Friday there'll be second round, so
right,
we might be live again next Friday after the picks, but maybe so we'll do right and talk about the first and second round. Kind of go over that, but that'll be for sure something that we might do. But we're getting to the final mock draft here, so. A couple things have happened, though, over time. Cody Whitehair was signed. We talked about that a little bit on the previous episode, but Whitehair is a guard, right, for the Raiders. Actually can play center, too. Actually, he's a better center than he is a guard, which is fine, but they brought him in to play right guard. Is familiar with Luke Getsy. So it kind of fills a hole a little bit. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, with Whitehair, it's depth. Doesn't stop him from doing anything, but I think it allows Meredith and Whitehair to compete, in camp. And if they find something round 3, even round 2, at that position, it also doesn't stop them from doing that. So while people will say, well, he had a terrible year last year, it's like, well, yeah, that's why it's not that huge of a signing. It's not going to be catastrophic. I think even if he plays, there's worse guys that the Raiders have started at guard. It's good to have a little system familiarity. He's going to know exactly what Getsy wants. And I hope they add some youth there in the draft. Not in any particular round. In fact, I do hope that what Telesco does is actually try to get into the top 100 one more time. I don't really think we need 7th round picks this year.
No.
This draft, or even really like 6th rounder. Like to me, I'm this year. You hear from everybody saying like it's not that deep of a draft in terms of day 3. It's really not that year. I would hope they try to get in one more time, and that'd be a good thing to do, is to find some interior offensive line inside the top, maybe 120, 150, or in that area. Try to get one more pick in there. I hope that's what they do.
Yeah, so somebody asked, is he a right guard, left guard? He played everything. He didn't play that much right guard, but he did play right guard for a couple games last year. and but he's mostly his left guard last season for them. But he's basically a tool man. So if Andre James gets hurt, you just move Cody Whitehair over, right? And he actually he actually might be better there. So because you look at his PFF grades, they're like 80s while he's a center, and they move him to guard, and they're like 60s. So obviously he's a center. But we'll see how he plays for the Raiders. But I think he has a chance to be the starting right guard to open up week 1. I think it's a pretty good chance for that. I mean, I wouldn't see unless Jordan Meredith beats him out, which is a possibility. I was wondering how they felt about Jordan Meredith, but they went and got Cody Whitehair for cheap, which kind of let us know how they feel about Jordan Meredith for sure.
Well, they want to see him win the job, which is fine. That doesn't mean you don't like a guy. It means can you beat a veteran that knows the system? Can you do that? And if you can, then there's no reason. What is it, about $1.5 million guaranteed for Whitehair? That's not to say you're our starter. You know what I mean? It's not like Andre James's contract where it's like, no, he's the center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, Andre James got basically solid center money, which I'm unfair to Andre James sometimes. So I think he's still a solid center. I just think that there's some things that just annoy me a little bit about him, and I feel like the Raiders could have found an upgrade at the position, but he's still a solid player. So I don't want to get on him too bad. But
people love him too, man. Did you notice that on the team? Like on the team, the people just can't live without the guy. Like I feel yeah. So that helps too. He's a leader and he's a center. He's the guy that touches the ball before anybody else does.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I think he's a big locker room guy. The locker room guy love him. Him and Jimmy Garoppolo are best friends. Real quick, but yeah. So people love Andre James. He's like their main guy that they love over there. But I just thought they could upgrade it a little bit. But like Laurie Cushenberry got like 14 million or something crazy.
Right.
So they're a little outpriced. They got him for the right price for a solid center. Yeah, that price is fine. It's okay. All right. So let's see what we're getting into today. I was just see article from Hondo talking about how AOC would have been a first rounder.
Leave my boy Hondo alone, guys. Just let him do his thing, dude. It's funny. It's like, just everyone gets all mad. And man, let him do his thing, dude. Whatever, Hey, watch Aiden go crazy this year. Watch him become a Brock Purdy type, and then Hondo's laughing at you guys.
Yeah, I think Hondo kind of says what he wants, what fans want to hear, kind of a little bit.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He seems like he's having fun. That's why I never get mad. He seems like he genuinely enjoys what he's doing. So I just like all these other beat writers are falling asleep at the press conferences asking what their favorite restaurant is in Vegas, and he actually cares. That's why.
Yeah. He's gonna ask what the fans want to ask.
Yeah, just whatever. It's like and that, to me, it's like he's wrong about that. I mean, it's not true, but it's just okay. Aiden's on the roster, and he might be the starting quarterback week 1, so you might as well start the little PR piece on him.
Yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about position fits, of course, do our mock draft and do a Q&A, of course. So, get your questions going, guys. We're going to be doing some cool stuff today. Of course, a final mock draft.
Oh, yeah.
Which is going to be pretty cool, I believe. I mean, our mock draft's been pretty dope, I believe. Pretty, throughout these times. So I think we'll be having a good time with these. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this. But anything else? Or we want to talk about Jaden Daniels, right? Jaden Daniels seems like he's trying to force himself to Las Vegas at this point. He's trying to tell teams, don't draft me. Las Vegas, come get me. Right?
Yeah. That's interesting what's happening there, because I on PFF this week, I was listening to the PFF NFL show, and they were talking about how Washington's doing the alpha test, which they owe us some money, by the way. We've been doing that for what, 4 years now? This whole thing, I'm sorry, for those of you who don't know, Marcus has been coming on my show for many, many years, for 4 years now. We're talking about alpha or beta or something like that, and all of a sudden these teams want to do this now. But anyways, Washington wanted to do joint visits with quarterbacks and find who the alpha was, who you want to go to Top Golf with, which Raider fans, I know we'd pick a different location personally. As Raider fans, we wouldn't pick Top Golf. Tough sore spot with the franchise, but they want to do that. And they're calling it, I think, the alpha test or the Top Golf test. And apparently Jaden Daniels failed it. What is being put out there is that he didn't like the joint visits. He wanted, apparently, this is not my opinion, this is just rumors, that what some people are saying is that Jaden Daniels wanted assurance that he's the second pick. Basically, the draft starts at 3, guys, right? Because you guys love me, and they're kind of like, no, I mean,
Yeah.
which I think that's fair. I think it's fair for Washington to say that. Maybe we do, but stop asking us to commit. We don't owe you anything right now. And then Raider fans, and there's reason to believe this, Raider fans and a lot of people that are connecting the dots could go, well, does he really just want to be in Vegas for Antonio Pierce?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to connect those dots. I mean, I do kind of feel them on the group interview thing. Like, you do a group interview and like, you graduate and somebody's trying to get you to sell knives door to door and have you all come to a group interview and you have to do like the whole, maybe he felt like that. Maybe he had like a trauma, a trauma up response, what I'm saying to that. I did this when I was 18. I got, invited to do sell knives, which is just fine, but I think what Washington was trying to do is exactly what you're saying is like who comes and takes over the room, right? Who comes in and is a leader and all those things. And I'm sure JJ McCarthy just kind of
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking JJ won. And I am also thinking JJ. I've been saying this for a while. What if JJ is the second pick in the draft? That is the thing that turns the whole draft upside down if Washington takes him second overall. It's crazy to think, but Dan Quinn, defensive coach, I could see it.
Get you a game manager, a tough intangibles having game
play hockey. He used to play hockey, dude. He could take a shot. I could just see the coaches thinking that he's a hockey kid. He's spitting out teeth. He doesn't.
That'd be super interesting, man. If JJ McCarthy is the second pick in the draft, bro, that would be interesting. But that's basically how that would go. I mean, they put them all in a room and they want to see who is who's the leader, who's gonna lead the group. You know what I mean? And go ahead.
No, I just have to ask you, as far as Jaden Daniels goes, I know you're an ASU guy. You like ASU. I know for a while, when I would be talking to you throughout the college football season last year, kind of like, damn, this is kind of crazy that like Jaden Daniels is balling like this, and you were you had your reservations, but I think now you're a bigger fan of him after the year. But does it worry you? People trying to curate where they're trying to go in the draft. Like I'm not accusing him of doing this. Let's just say that he is though. He wants to be in Vegas. I'm kind of like, that's kind of weird that you like have to play here. Like, I kind of want the guy that, hey, if it all works out, we'll get you. And we, you might want to come here, but forcing the idea other than like Eli, which was a whole weird Manning family thing that was happening there. That's different. I think if a guy's really trying to force his way, at least out of the top 5 to where the Raiders can trade up for him, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I'd be like, is he like that? I don't know a lot about him personally. Is he really like that?
Who are you talking about?
Jaden, like, is he really like the type of like a diva, I guess is what I mean.
I don't know if he's a diva. He's kind of coming off that way a little bit. He won the Heisman and all that stuff, but it's one of those things where like you have a more reserved leadership style. Like if you're laid back, he's a laid back guy. He's not going to come in there and be like really vocal, right? It's like putting Justin Herbert in that type of situation. Justin Herbert's might make a stupid joke or something like that, but he's not going to be like intense leader like JJ did. So like if they gave them like a group project, probably JJ McCarthy is probably the one who speak up and took over. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Those are the type of things that you do when you do those group interviews. You trying to see who's a leader and who's not. Is have them do like a group activity, and whoever leads the group activity is probably the biggest leader. If you have a bunch of quarterbacks, a bunch of supposed alphas in one room, it's going to be a fight to lead it. And if Jaden Daniels is just chilling back, like I don't care, then it might not look good. But we'll see. It could be a little bit of a pump fake. They're pretty dead set on taking him before that, so you might be right. I mean, if they switch to JJ, it would shock us. But
it might be Drake May too. I could because I see this the Field Yates was proposing a trade, just proposing a trade. Got a week till the draft. He's just messing around, but that means he might be hearing something. And but they were saying that the Raiders trade all the way up to 2 simply because Washington is soured on Jaden Daniels. But wouldn't that just mean they pick another quarterback at 2 instead of Jaden rather than trying to trade out? They have 6 picks in the top 100. Washington does. So I can't imagine they're going to be like, no, I'll take the haul and go all the way to 13 where I don't get a quarterback. I think they want a quarterback. So I don't see that happening. I think Jaden would have to fall to at least to Arizona. And then if he falls to 5, I can't imagine the Chargers would be super excited about trading with the Raiders to get a quarterback. So
Yeah.
it would really have to be Arizona. I guess would be the only way pathway. I don't see the Raiders trading with Washington. I think Washington would just say they have like another quarterback more, and like JJ.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they might take Daniels anyways. You know, maybe this is something that just there's
Yeah.
who knows how it really went. Maybe he just didn't feel maybe he felt uncomfortable with it, and maybe he did a good job. It's not saying that he didn't do. They never say he didn't do a good job,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So this guy asked this question: if you're an ASU fan, do you remember every teammate throwing him under the bus when he left? Well, yeah, because he wasn't that good there. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He was supposed to be. He was supposed to be the guy at LSU at ASU. Let's keep it real. He was. That was who he was supposed to be. But they picked him up. That's how excited we were as people who like ASU.
Mm-hmm.
We were excited that he was going to do that, and especially with the players he had around him. I mean, Herm Edwards and Antonio Pierce, they were great recruiters.
Yeah.
So they got all those players there, and it kind of underachieved. A little bit was Herm Edwards, in my opinion, but yeah, he went to LSU, and I think he just got better as a quarterback. I just keep it real.
Didn't they have Ricky Pearsall? Didn't they have Ricky Pearsall and Brandon? Not maybe Brandon IU probably wasn't there at the same time, but
no, they were
for a little bit, little overlap. Yeah,
like
that's
a year, like a little overlap. Yeah, I mean, even Frank Darby got drafted. Benjamin got drafted, playing in the NFL.
Jack Jones on defense. I mean, they had
yeah. That's why they beat Oregon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And he balled that game though. See, it was like games like that. I feel like why I like Jaden Daniels is because the games I remember them losing are the games that they didn't have it was ASU, but just weren't ready, whatever. It's a party school. You know, it's hard. It's hard to win here. I'm not gonna lie, guys. There's blondes everywhere, and they're half naked. It's hard. It's hard for these guys. These guys,
and you don't
they come to practice hungover. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You don't have that. You don't have the SEC fan base either. I'm not trying to hate on ASU. It's just different. You don't have radio shows dedicated to like how bad you were in the spring game. You know what I mean? Like, in the same way, like Brian Kelly, even with like moving from Notre Dame, which is a big school, but moved to LSU, it was a completely different thing for him. Like as a coach, he was just like, whoa, this is crazy. I got to fake an accent. You know what I mean? To fit in here. So I think like with Jaden Daniels, like it was a bigger stage. And like I said, I just love his game. You got to take a chance. If he's there, you have to try it. If there is a way to get him, I do think you have to try it. Our mock drafts are not going to show Jaden Daniels today. Spoiler alert in there. Yeah. But if that's a possibility, if teams just aren't in love with him, but Antonio Pierce tells Tom Telesco, like, dude, I know you haven't. He's 20 pounds lighter than the quarterbacks you normally draft. I got this. You got to try it.
Yeah, and he had a chance to draft him. I think him and AP might fight in the draft room. So
that'd be fun.
I think
wouldn't be much of a fight. Tell you that much. Yeah. That's like Charles Sprewell and PJ Carlissimo, dude. Like it's all bad. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into some of these draft position fits. I said I'm not going to do all this work for nothing. I'm about to write some articles about this. But it was interesting, man, because this dude's super stubborn. This is one of the most stubborn GMs of all time. Because cornerbacks, which, kind of foreshadowing, which I thought we did a good job with.
I know. Yeah.
Right? I thought we did a good job with, because he's literally drafted the same corner every single time.
Yep.
Like the same guy. Like he literally didn't draft any corners for Gus Bradley. I thought that was hilarious when I was going over it. Because, Gus Bradley likes a long corner and a certain. Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to draft you anybody. You might find these guys are free agency, but I ain't drafting you nobody.
Right.
So he has that that kind of idea of like, I'm gonna do what I do, and you're gonna have to deal with it. I talked to somebody about him when he took a quarterback. I talked to Steve Haglin, who does Guilty as Charged podcast. I talked to him about it a little bit, and he was telling me how they were fine with taking Tua or Herbert, right? But Tua still hits a mark for him in a certain situation. So, so they were fine with taking both guys, but yeah, man, he's a stubborn little scout there. He's under Bill Polian. Probably thinks he's one of the GOATs here.
Yeah, and also just with Herbert, he might value taking a Herbert mold guy just because it did work. Too more so, like he might go back to that route. That might even become like ultra style, like the big athletic dude with the strong arm. Like he might just go back to that well again now just because it worked too.
Yeah. All right. So I was trying to get some of these questions before we get into this. Then we get to mock draft. Do you believe the buzz for New England trading out? No, I do not. I think they're.
Maybe.
I don't. I
Maybe.
don't.
No, I think if you can get them set up with 3 first-round picks or having 2 first-round picks in each of the next 3 years, like if they were to get that now, because what Monty Ossenford has kind of revolutionized the draft and not told, and it's people aren't talking about it enough. Monty Ossenford's the GM for the Arizona Cardinals, not the
Yeah.
Patriots, but the Cardinals. What he did, I don't know if I think it was last year, right? Was they traded way back to 13, if I'm not mistaken, or 12 with the Texans. So the Texans could get Will Anderson, and then they traded back up from there to get Paris Johnson, which the Raiders actually really wanted, but to trade back up. I could see the Patriots doing something like that to go like, okay, let's get the haul, and then decide where do we go from there. I also could see them taking just like trading back a couple spots and just taking like Joe Alt or something. Like they need a lot. They need a lot on that team. It all depends on what Robert Kraft has told Gerard Mayo, how much time he has. But Robert Kraft has been talking a lot of shit lately, so he might be trying to win now. So
Yeah.
there's always that too. Yeah.
100%. So what do you think about the odd changes with JD and May for the number 2 picks? So for that, I don't follow the odds with Vegas because I feel like they're too much based by agents during this time. Like if you want to follow Vegas during picks and gambling, that's fine. But right now, this is like just agents just talking a bunch of shit. So Will Levis is supposed to go number 2 last year at this point in time.
That's
So
right.
do with like 34 or something.
Michael Penix is like guaranteed to be a Raider according to Vegas right now. So
yeah,
that's what I mean. So I'm just saying, take that for what it will. If they don't draft Michael Penix, you'll understand where Vegas is on the draft right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm gonna do this. Let's look at some of these position fits. So I put some players in here. Try to share my screen here. And so you guys can see this. How's it look? Do I need to zoom it in a little bit?
No, there you go. Yeah, you will need to zoom in.
Okay. Hold on.
Come in like maybe 2 clicks. Let's say two clicks.
Where's the zoom at? Oh, there it is.
If you come in
right there,
maybe one more. One
more. Okay.
Yeah, one more up. Yeah. Okay, we're good.
All right,
yeah.
all right, we're good. Okay, perfect. All right, so I tried to get these in order. If our names are spelled wrong, it's okay, guys. Just let it go, okay? Don't worry about that. All right, so I went with some of these positions. I like Coach Joe Ald, Fuaga, Fatanu, Guyton, Rosengarten, and Suma Mataya for offensive line. So these are some of the best fits just based on measurements. Because, like I said, he's basically drafted the same guy every single time. Then you got Barton, Jackson Powers, BB, Haynes, which is, I think might be a good pick too, Puny and Mahogany. So you kind of went over O-line already. So when I went to quarterback, of course, Drake May is definitely his prototypical type of guy, right? I don't think he'll pass with Jaden Daniels. He did take a guy over under 210 before, so I don't think he passed with Jaden Daniels. He's not that dumb. So I think you go Daniels. I thought he'd go McCarthy after that because McCarthy did come in at 219, which is more than Penix. And I went Penix and then Pratt, more for fits. Bo Nix was kind of like iffy. He's like 214 type of thing, 6'2 type of, yeah. He's just iffy for him. Because even, what's his name? Easton Stick is 224 pounds. He's 6'1".
Oh, wow.
But he's 224.
Thick dude.
It's a big dude. He's a thick guy, right? For wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell is the perfect fit. This is the funny part of this too, is he's literally drafted a 6'2", 208 pounds, 6'1" to 205 to 208 pound wide receiver that runs a 4.5 to a 4.7. Right? He hasn't like drafted a speed wide receiver. His first one he did was last year. Super weird. But these guys are fits. You got Adonai Mitchell, Ricky. I don't know if I spelled it wrong. Ricky Pearsall. Keon Coleman is a sneaky guy.
Yeah.
Javon Baker, and then of course Brendan Rice, which I spelled it wrong. It's an E there, but it's fine. Brendan Rice is a sneak who have her visit. All right, our running backs, you got Jonathan Brooks, Audrey Estime, Trey Benson, Marshawn Lloyd, and Kendall Milton. These are more late round guys in that area. And then we got Byron Murphy, Newton, which I think he's gonna like Newton more than Murphy.
And I'm almost there too. I'm not gonna lie. I like Newton a lot.
Yeah, he's and then Braden Fisk is a big one, and Chris Jenkins. If they go defense tackle, this is just I know people are like, why you have defense tackle on here? Because it might be something that they add there. Because I mean, they have Adam Butler, they have John Jenkins, but they might add something there. And Chris Jenkins has some pedigree, but he's like exactly every single defense tackle he's drafted.
No, I don't
Same
hate.
with
I
Fisk
wouldn't
too.
hate that at all. Yeah, I like Chris Jenkins.
With corner, is what it gets weird. Okay, so it's Wiggins and Mitchell. If they went corner at 13, it's either Wiggins or Mitchell.
Yeah,
Right.
interesting.
Because they both run. He has never drafted a corner early who didn't run at least a 4.4,
Okay.
like a low one. And the only one he did draft a 4.47 was a 6th round guy, I believe. So, I mean, those are later guys, and he didn't go over 4.5. So, with that type of situation, he's going to go with the 4.3 guys. He's not going to go Arnold, right? And Arnold has like the position, and he has all those things, but yeah, it's Wiggins or Mitchell there. If they go there, 13.
And it was
I mean,
4.47.
it could be Arnold. I could be wrong. It could be Arnold, and he might just make an exception. But go ahead.
Did you say 4.47 was the threshold?
Yeah, the lowest was 4.47.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And then there's Max Melton is another guy too that is gonna run. He ran like a 4.39, perfect fit. There's some other guys like watch out for like Mike Sinistro. I didn't put him on here. Mike Sinistro, that's a secret pick. He's basically Jason Verrett. Any guy has Jason Verrett.
And he's a more of a slot guy too, right? I think that's the only reason fans wouldn't be excited, because Nate Hobbs is a Raider fan. People love him. So
the thing is, Asante Samuel is too.
Yeah,
technically, right?
Good point. Mm-hmm.
Mike Sinistro, I didn't put him on here. But
like
that
him.
dude is a little bit of a kind of a secret for me.
Yeah,
that he could be a guy that they take because he likes those little small guys. Jarvis Brownlee from Louisville too, but he's kind of slow. I think he ran a little slow. So
yeah.
But Sandstrom might be a guy. Sandstrom is a baller though.
Oh yeah, and if he's I think AP would love him too. That would be one that they would both agree on. I think there too.
Is Malcolm? I don't think you can't give up Malcolm Coots, man. They need as much pass rush as possible. Unless they plan on drafting Dallas Turner, then they can get rid of.
Well, you're not going to draft Dallas Turner because you're trading up for the quarterback and you don't have any picks anymore. That's the thing. You've given up your starting defensive end and then mortgaged everything on a quarterback, which again, if the quarterback hits, I guess it doesn't matter, and then you're just hoping Tyree Wilson plays, pops in at defensive end and none of this matters. But I don't know. I think as fans, even hashing that out in my head, I'm not sure that would be the best move, in my opinion, for somebody who's probably not the number one quarterback. I mean, we know who the number one quarterback is this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's Caleb Williams, easy. So, see any questions about anything I posted? Where does Byron Murphy get taken? That's interesting. I think he's going to get taken
early.
He could take it pretty early.
Top 20, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's expecting the Broncos to take quarterback, but the Broncos don't have the ammunition. They don't have a second round pick. No. They don't have the movement. So we'll see. Even though I kind of did something that maybe they could have did, but they didn't have that second round pick to give up. But yeah, I wouldn't expect Byron Murphy to fall that far. He might fall to like the 19s, the 18s because he's defensive tackle and they're not super huge tackles this year. But I wouldn't expect him to get out of the first round. That would be crazy.
Yeah, the Rams pick at 19, the Bengals pick at 18. Those are teams that could use him. The Cardinals have a second pick, and I think it's where Houston was picking, right? Or
26.
Okay, so he will not, in my opinion, he will not get past that point. I think he's a first round pick. But I think I could see the Cardinals going after him, even trying to get aggressive into going to get him if he falls out of the top 15. No, I think he's definitely a top 20 pick.
Yeah, so one thing, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. kind of controls his draft a little bit. I think where he goes is going to be interesting to see because, the Patriots, I was watching the Cardinals 2004 draft. I think I talked about this on the last episode, but they took Larry Fitzgerald, right? In the 2004 draft. They took him over Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger. Not just one guy. You think about it, they could have got Eli Manning. They could have been the team that did the whole Eli Manning switch. You know what I mean? I'm sure Eli Manning, when he came to Arizona, could play golf. Play a whole bunch of golf. They could retire out there, get a retirement home out in Sun City or something out in Mesa or something out in East Mesa. But, the Cards still took Larry Fitzgerald. And Marvin Harrison reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald. Basically, I feel like he's like the second faster version of him. It's like an update,
Mhm.
Larry Fitzgerald 2.0. So, because Larry Fitzgerald wasn't that fast coming out. But man, the Patriots might take him. I mean, because it wouldn't be stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then I saw I don't know if it was DJ that had something that was teasing something. Daniel Jeremiah talking about the Jets trading up to 5 to get Harrison, provided that quarterbacks go 1 through 4. And then the Chargers trade back with the Jets, and the Jets get Marvin Harrison, which I would understand it from the Jets' perspective. It's like we
Yeah.
got one or two, maybe 1 to 2 years of Aaron Rodgers, hopefully for them that happens, and then you have Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison. That would make sense to me. I would do it.
Yeah.
He's interesting, and I follow Steve Smith's YouTube channel. One of my draft picks is going to come from something I found out about from Steve Smith, because I really like hearing what he has to say about wide receivers. And Steve Smith was talking about like some of these teams, man, they fall in love with like one guy. Like some guys are going to have, I think Lance Zierlein was on his show saying Rome Odunze is going to be one on some people's boards, and it's gonna trip people out. Neighbors, like, of course, which none of us would fault anyone for having Neighbors as the top receiver, because he's incredible. It's going to get real interesting. I think that you're right with the wide receiver stuff. I think if JJ goes at 2, that changes the draft. But if somebody goes another receiver over Marvin Harrison, that also turns the draft upside down.
I am Malik Neighbors. There's a chance, man. There's a chance, but I don't know. I think the NFL's that stupid. That's it. I feel like
You never. But again, these teams pick high for a reason. Washington picks high for a reason. I say this as somebody. We're all fans of a team that does dumb things in the draft. Sadly,
Yeah.
that it stops this year though. But for the month,
exactly.
These teams do dumb things. There's always one team that does a dumb thing.
Yeah. See, 'cause I always said the NFL's not stupid. There's some GMs that are stupid. That's what I said. That's how.
Or they feel pressured. They feel like outside pressure. It's like, well, I like this guy more, but Marvin Harrison's, whatever. I like so and so more than Marvin Harrison, but I might get fired next year, so I need the guy that can play more now rather than the high upside guy. People do that.
We gave some of the Raiders fans some bad memories. They took Robert Gallery.
Roberta Gallery. Was there a change that
I mean,
happened?
I like that name. I like that name with them short arms. You know what I mean?
Well, I was gonna say, anyways, now I'm gonna make that joke. Did something happen in the last year or so that I didn't know about?
No, you didn't. That's nothing.
No, okay, all right,
so we're good.
All right.
We're good, man. We're good. We're good.
Uh-huh.
No big sponsors yet, so we're right. Man.
No. I just you know what? I just want to make sure I get it right. If that's the case, it's just shout out to the guy.
Right,
he got
right,
hated.
right.
I think he got hated on too much. When he kicked into guard, he wasn't half bad.
Yeah, he was a solid.
No,
number 2 overall.
He was a bust, but like there's guys like Luke Jokel, guys like that just were like out of the league. He found a way to stay in the league for 10 years.
He was Clelin Ferrell at guard.
Yeah, agreed.
Tackle.
100% agree. Yeah,
he was Clelin Ferrell at tackle though. But he scared teams off of short arm tackles for at least until Rashawn Slater. So for about 15 years there. But I mean, the Raiders could take Phillip Rivers too. I mean, that would have been interesting.
Yeah,
or Ben Roethlisberger.
Maybe Michael Penix. Maybe Tom Telesco likes Michael Penix because of that arm. We'd just be like, whoa, that weird throwing motion. It looks like Phil. You know? Yeah.
All right. So that was the position fits. Let's get into this mock draft, man. Let's get into this, man. Mock draft time. Final mock of the year. And of course, we did 4 rounds, 4 picks, right? And I think this is pretty. This should be fun. I think this is a pretty interesting one.
I like both our drafts. You're gonna have. I already tell you right now, the fans are gonna like yours more because you got active. You know what I mean? You're active. You're moving up the board. I stayed and got my guys.
Yeah, I hit the trade value chart, bro.
You did. You're Jimmy Johnson. You're Jimmy Johnson right now.
Yeah. I was like, let me add these up.
Okay.
Let me add something else to spice this up. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But let's get into it. Let's start off with your first pick, Glenn.
All right.
So I still think they're gonna like your first pick. I think it's gonna be a fan favorite. And they're gonna appreciate this. So let's get into your first pick.
Yeah. So real fast, the last mock draft we did, I took Michael Penix at 13. That's not what I want to do. In fact, I'll be a little disappointed if they do. I just wanted to see what I could do with the rest of the draft if I took Michael Penix at 13. So I'm not doing that this time. This is completely different. I'm taking my guy. I'm taking 4 in 4 rounds, making 4 picks. All 4 are my guys. So with the first pick, the 13th pick in the draft, but the Raiders' first pick, they're going to take Talisi Fuaga out of Oregon State. He's going to play right tackle right away. He might even play a little guard. What if Thayer Mumford is just a baller at camp and he's just like, whoa, Thayer's just balling at right tackle. Fuaga play a little right guard, dude. He might win that competition or whatever. Like that white hair and all that stuff that allows you a little versatility to move guys around a little bit. And I think it adds nastiness to this team. I think the Raiders need more of that. I think they're gonna if Antonio Pierce can keep the penalties in line, which is I still think was one of the coolest things that he did that doesn't talked about enough, is that he basically stopped the penalties from happening in the second half of the year with the same roster that McDaniels had. But you want to still be nasty. You want to still assert dominance. This is the guy you run off his side. He's going to be dominant in the run game early. And I think he has potential to even develop more in pass protection, which I think is good as is.
Yeah. So the thing with Fuaga, I mean, we talk about Robert Gallery. I mean, he could play guard, right? See, if Fuaga kicks in the guard, it's a failure. Maybe. I wouldn't say that. For assistant general manager. See, they like you there. So, I think Fuaga could play right tackle.
Yeah,
I don't think right tackles have to be the best pass protectors in the world. I just don't believe that, and I think he's good enough. To be honest, I think some speed. Will speed guys give him a little bit of trouble? Yeah, but I think he has the athleticism to recover. You see the vertical leap that he has at 324 pounds, 32 inches at 324 pounds is legit. I mean, let's keep it real. He's got some pretty decent arm length, not the greatest, and that's why they might feel like they want to move him inside. But Telesco is not the type of guy to move a tackle inside. He feels like
if two guys get injured, right? If you just have like a horrible injury, right? You're not putting Mumford there, I don't think. At guard. Maybe you are, but I wouldn't. I'm saying he isn't just strictly a right tackle is what I mean. Like I think he has disaster mode. You could kick him into guard for a game or two while you heal up. I mean, I don't want to put him at guard. I'm just saying if you get to a spot in camp where Mumford's good, he'll be your swing tackle, but then you get injuries, Whitehair, Meredith, guys like that go down. Andre James, Whitehair has to go play center, things like that. Offensive linemen get injured. I think he can play 2 spots. He can play on the right side, both spots.
Yeah. So if somebody got injured, he can move inside, but I still think if Telesco takes him, which is a huge possibility, he's like a great fit for what he likes. I mean, he's a little bit bigger than what he usually takes, but I still think he's not going to ignore the weight, because I feel like if they take a tackle, it's going to be him or Faulkner from Washington. Yeah. It's going to be in between those two if they take a tackle there. So, like I said, he's a good player. He's a damn good run defender, as you can see. 90 rushing grade, probably I think one of the best this year in PFF out of the class.
Yeah.
So he's a monster in the run game. Zone scheme fit, ran zone scheme at Oregon State. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that he could do. He does really well. Like I said, the only really thing is that, sometimes just how fast he gets into his set, his feet are a little slow. And that's why you feel like he should play guard a little bit, in my opinion. But, I think if they draft him, he's playing right tackle. I mean, they're not going to move him inside. So, I just couldn't see that happening because he didn't move Slater inside.
No, and I'm just saying you don't draft him and then move him inside. You move him inside if something happens, is what I mean. He's able to fill in for somebody.
Is picking Fuaga and he gets beat up by Mumford not a failure? I mean, it is, but I don't even think they give Mumford the opportunity to draft Fuaga. I think Fuaga would be starting unless Fuaga just was getting drunk on Vegas Strip or something like that. I don't think he would be losing to Mumford, because like I always tell you guys, Mumford, Dalton Wagner, the 7th round picks, they're undrafted, and the NFL is just mean to those guys for some reason. They want them guys to work the hardest to prove to them we didn't draft you, so are you good? So they have to get that proof from things. Like most undrafted guys don't get on to like the 4th year because it's like 3 years of great special teams play. You're like, you know what? Maybe you could play corner. Like Keyshawn Nixon is the biggest example. Right, he's a starting slot corner. What was he, like a special team guy for the Raiders? Barely played. Now he's a starting slot for the Green Bay Packers. So I mean, undrafted guys, and 7th rounders, they got to continuously prove themselves. So it's just annoying.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. I'm just saying, my goal is to not move him to guard. I mean, that's not what I mean. And I would agree. That's like, if you're getting beat by the guy, I'm just saying it's a good problem to have when you have a bunch of good offensive linemen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I like Damian Martinez too. Outside zone fit right here. I like
Okay.
Damian Martinez. He's a good player. Good player. The guy you can probably get in the 5th or the 6th too. All right.
Good spot. Good spot.
All right, guys. So I went a little different. I went crazy here. I tried to get crazy.
You went crazy.
Crazy. This is even a crazy prediction because this is something that it might not happen. If I put this on Twitter, Twitter would call me crazy and say that I don't know what they would say to me, but they say call me a hater. I'd be a hater if this happened. But I got a trade, but it's not far, guys. It's from 13 to 9. Okay, so we give a 2024 first, 2025 second, and a 2024 third. I did the draft chart. This equaled way over what they wanted, right? Because I gave them 5 second.
It's a lot.
It is. I think a 2025 second could. It depends on how good the Raiders are, right? If you have faith in the Raiders, this could be a great value trade, in my opinion. And then the 2024 third, right? So I'm gonna be picking a 5th round pick, guys. Okay, my 4th pick's a 5th rounder. All right. And the Bears give up a 2024 5th, so they get another 5th. It could have been like a 6th or something like that to be fine, but this is what I got. All right. So who did I take? Who do you guys think I took? Of course, the quarterback that I thought that they would like the whole time. I took Drake May at 9. Drake May at 9, at 9th overall. So I'm shooting my shot here, guys. Drake May is gonna fall. Just because I believe the NFL is a lot lower, and I think the NFL sees him like Josh Allen did. Like they see Josh Allen. And Josh Allen was falling until a team who had a quarterback that could have been their starter, right? He could have started for them. Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if maybe he wasn't still on the team anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Tyrod Taylor was with I can't remember if he was.
Did he leave? Did he leave?
Yeah, and then the Chargers almost murdered him. I remember.
No, no, that was 2020 though.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to think. That was 2018. Yeah, he probably was still on the Bills. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's still on the Bills. Okay. Right. So they're still on the Bills, and Josh Allen was falling. Like there's so much buzz about Josh Allen going 1. Right. There's so much buzz about it, and I was just trying to be kind of guesser here. So it's like, okay, so Jaden Daniels goes 2, right? Caleb Williams goes 2 or whatever. It all depends on what the Patriots do. So if the Patriots do something crazy, they go Marvin Harrison, and then the Vikings trade up, right? Because that's what the Vikings are going to do. The Vikings have 11-23. They're not going to sit on that. They have so much points. They have so many points, bro. It's like they can do whatever the hell they want, basically, right? So they trade up, but they don't take Drake May, which everybody thinks they are. They take JJ, right? Okay. And then the Giants they pass on. They got Daniel Jones. They don't want a project, right? They got Daniel Jones. Brian Dable's like, I might get fired. Those type of things might happen with them. I can get Michael Penix in the 2nd at 36 or something like that. Those type of things, as those thought processes start thinking, and he just starts to slowly fall. And the Raiders trade up, and they get Drake May. Now, I'll say a couple things about Drake May. All right. Drake May, I think he has high upside. Okay. Yeah. He makes a lot of cool plays. He's definitely an off script guy. He's not really a pocket passer. That's kind of the thing with him, and that's why people like him so much. And that's why he's so loved on Twitter, because Twitter loves a guy who can move and make a cool throw. Right. Twitter loves that because they can post it and you can look how cool his throw is.
13-second clip. You want a 13-second clip.
Yeah, 13-second clip. He's going to have some cool throws. Every game, he has about like 4 of them. That's why he has like that 7.7 big time throw rate, because every single game he has like what the hell was that? That's a crazy throw. Yeah. The thing is that, his feet fire in the pocket. It's you got to fix the footwork. I do think, somebody like Rich Scangarello, who has history of like helping out with Caleb Williams and stuff like that, they can work with him on his footwork, and he doesn't have to play right away, right? If Aiden O'Connell doesn't, kind of beats him out, and then Aiden O'Connell does his thing or whatever, I think Drake May could be ready to play for him because he's a young player, and you can wait a little bit if he's not ready to go. And there's a lot of things you could build up with. Like Josh Allen did not start the year. I think it was actually Peterman or something like that, but I think Peterman lasted a game because he's Nathan Peterman. But I think Josh Allen didn't start the year, right? Mm-hmm. As the starting quarterback. And I kind of see him. People kind of call him Justin Herbert. But honestly, I think he's more Josh Allen. not from a size standpoint, because I think Josh Allen was more Cam Newton, and people just didn't want to give it to him because we all love Cam. Everybody, Twitter loves Cam. You can't call somebody else Cam Newton, even though Josh Allen has basically became Cam Newton over time. But I think he's more in that mold. We have to build him up a little bit, and I think you have to really believe in the guy, because I'll never forget. And I've been talking about this since the combine left. Why did they have film for him?
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird when you said that.
Strange. Mm-hmm. Very strange. And they maybe have an idea, because I just don't think the NFL. I think the NFL is scared of him. He might get you, because he might get you fired.
Yeah.
The thing is, AP, I got Aiden O'Connell, so if he gets me fired, I just put Aiden in, or Minshew. Right. So yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Glen?
No, I like Drake May. I don't see a scenario where he's there at 9. Actually, like I just don't. I mean, that's my thing. But look, stranger things have happened. I mean, Patrick Mahomes went like 10th. I mean, it's just things happen. Like I get that, and but he is the big arm guy. I do think Washington ends up taking him at 2 now. It's him or JJ. I think Washington has soured on Jaden Daniels, but giving up the future first for Drake May. Look, again, you cannot put a price on your franchise quarterback. You truly
it was a second. It was a second. I give him a future second.
Oh, okay. So I misread that thing. So it was a future second. Okay, that's not bad. No, that's good. We still have time to go get him some, some his tackle. Go get him. He doesn't have to start right away. Whereas if you draft Penix, Daniels, these other guys that are a little bit older, Nix, you're kind of like, okay, we can't sit this guy. Like he's already, 25, but with Drake May, you do have a chance to go, okay, we're going to let him work, give him an NFL offseason to work on his feet a little bit, work on some of the on-schedule stuff, hit some of the layups that he misses. That's his big knock, is that he misses some layups, throws. He'll bounce a hitch here and there, but no, you take a chance on this every time. This is what wins you games, especially in the AFC, is when you hit on a guy like this.
Yeah, I think, I don't. To be honest, I don't think he makes it there. But one of these guys is gonna fall. I just don't believe 4 quarterbacks go 4 in a row. That has never happened.
It doesn't happen. Yeah, you're right.
It's never happened. Yeah. So we're betting against. So I'm betting against history. This is what I'm doing, guys. I'm betting against history, and this one guy is gonna fall. It's the guy who scares everybody the most. Who scares me the most to fall? Drake May. Who might get me fired? That's because the thing is, it's the Giants, right? He gets to the Giants, everybody's expecting the Giants to take him. But I mean, the Giants might take like Neighbors or somebody. They might take Odunze because they don't have a stud wide receiver right now. You know what I mean? Darren Waller's retiring.
Yeah.
All those things are happening. So yeah. But anyways. All right.
Yeah. So I got us the right tackle. I got us the right tackle. You got a quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So round 2. I like this one. See, I felt like you went to and looked at his measurables, because this is a good pick. I was even thinking about this guy, but
so I'll introduce him here. I found out about him. I'm a big fan of Dane Brugler. I think Dane Brugler. I've never seen a person love the draft. This is why I want Marcus to become the next Dane Brugler. We need to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Get the numbers up. Marcus needs to do this for a living. He could put out the beast, the draft guide. He'll do it.
Yeah,
he'll make it 400 pages instead of this measly 325 that Dane Brugler has put out. But no, Dane Brugler had been talking about this guy. I really like him on podcasts and stuff too. He's really good at talking about it. And he'd been talking about this guy for the past month, and I finally in the last week started watching him, and I love this guy. So with the 44th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Andrew Phillips, cornerback, University of Kentucky. Now, what you're going to look at right now is you're going to see that he's 5'10", right? But what did Marcus say at the beginning of the? He's 5'11", 5'10", 3/4. He tells the girls he's 5'11". He might even lie and say 6 foot.
See, 6 foot. He tells the girls 6 foot.
Yeah. If you wear the right shoe, she cannot tell. Because if you're barefoot around a woman, you're at a weird spot. You're like, why are we barefoot? So, anyways, he's a shorter guy. Put on his tape. You might not know this guy. I haven't heard him talked about on this channel very much, and I don't see Raider Nation talk about this guy a lot. But this guy is a tackler. He comes up and looks for work. When you catch a ball in front of Andrew Phillips, because he is a zone corner mainly, but he played a lot of zone at Kentucky. He goes up and looks for work, and he knocks people backwards. And in this league now, when you see the NFL defenses right now, the trend is too high safety, tackle in front of you. You need your corners to tackle more than ever right now. And also, when he's tested in one-on-one coverage, he's really good at what I look for in corners, and I'm far from an expert, but what I look for in corners is when there's a contested catch opportunity, do corners panic? Do they do a PI? Do they just kind of swipe at it or something like that? He allows the ball to get in and he rakes the ball out. And that's something that's really tough to teach. And if it's already there, it can be refined. And I just like this guy. I think he's going to fit in. I think he's going to fit in with what AP wants. I think he fits the Telesco threshold. And some people have him going round 3, but I've seen him as high as like early second round. So I'm splitting the difference. They're taking him at 44.
All right. So I do like Andrew Phillips. I think he's a good player. I think he's, like you said, he's a tough guy. I think he's a pretty solid corner. More of a zone guy, in my opinion, which, I mean, the Raiders are. They're their own team, so basically it's not a complaint. And to me, I think it's a huge possibility because he's like a perfect fit, like 5'10", 190, 31-inch arms. Is basically every single guy that he drafted. The only thing is there's no 40. I couldn't find a 40 on him. Right?
No, his 40's not. So there's my couple knocks on him is he didn't. I couldn't find it either. On tape, it looks like he's not getting beat by SEC receivers, but he is in zone. Yeah. And then the other thing is he didn't have an interception in college. That's the other reason. I honestly, if he had even like 2 or 3 interceptions in college, but there was one play where somebody intercepted in Kentucky. One of the other players intercepted, and they pitched the ball to him. Dude, he looked like a punt returner when he was running with it. It was crazy. And look. I would rather have my guys just cover well. I like playmakers. I like ball hawks. It's important to get free possessions for your offense, but I like guys that are just there all the time. And he played against top competition, and I like
it. Okay. All right. Andrew Phillips. Yeah, it's a solid pick, man. I think, somebody like Patrick Graham would like in some of those guys. So we got a question. They're asking if you're drinking the Paper Moon IPA.
No, I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is like a red ale that I'm having right now. It's kind of a red ale. The brewery's escaping me right now, but
yeah, they want me to straight. I can't straight. I'm not gonna straight.
I don't know if that's. Yeah, I think him and I have different hair types. Yeah, I just.
I mean, I could do it, but then I was like Snoop Dogg or like Cat Williams.
Oh yeah, that you'd look like that Snoop Dogg that was that one album cover where he has it completely laid. Yeah. That would be a lot of work.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of work.
I think that was No Limit. That was his.
That was the first No Limit Top Dog. Yeah, exactly. Well, hey.
Or Snoop Dogg or Master P Beats was.
Guys, get to 30,000 subscribers for Tape Don't Lie, and Marcus will straighten his hair. Yeah.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I gotta get twisted again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
The Dogfather.
Oh, the Dogfather's the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was like, why is that name? Yeah, the Dogfather. Thank you.
See, they got me. They're getting on us. So the Dogfather.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't No Limit. Yeah, it wasn't No Limit.
Let us know.
Yeah, it didn't sound right. Yeah, we talked about rap last time, so now everybody we got to be on point. Yeah,
exactly, 100%. All right, so my second round pick, which I thought this guy's a fit for the Raiders, and I really feel like that this is something that would go because they still got 44. Okay, they still got pick 44. Right, they don't have pick 77, but they got pick 44, and I went with a tackle. I went Roger Rosengarten, right tackle.
You love
Washington. Oh, I do like Rosengarten a lot, actually. I do. 6'5", 308. Pretty good arms right there. 33 inches, 1/8.
Yeah.
Hands are a little smaller than what Telesco likes, but he has the vert, and of course he's an athletic freak. Dude, he ran like a 4.92. And he's just a freak. He's athletic. He's a freaky athletic guy. Okay, and you said he's beefy, but he's about 308, man.
Yeah, 308 is not big. Yeah, that's not big
right. But that's how much Rashawn Slater wears.
Interesting.
So he's almost Rashawn Slater.
I drafted that boy basically, and you drafted the guy that Telesco was like, might actually go for.
Yeah, the athletic little 308 kind of lighter offensive lineman. I think that he's going to be fit. So I mean, you just got to clean him up a little bit. I think some of his technique issues are there, but he's just so strong. He is so athletic. He has great feet. He can move all over the place. He's just a great player from that type of situation where I feel like that you can have him battle with Munford. People talk about the actual battle with Munford. I feel like this would be an actual battle, right? Like you would have him come in there, battle Munford for the position. If Munford wins, that's fine. That's your second round pick, and you kind of figure that out. And then maybe eventually he grows and he beats out Munford, because having a second round pick lose a job is not as bad as a first round pick losing a job. Let's keep it real, right? Even though he should come in and eventually become the starter, you know, it could be more of an equal battle. So if Munford wins that battle, he wins it, right? If Rosengarten wins it, he wins it. And those are the type of things you let Rosengarten kind of go out there and kind of mess up and go through a little bit of the growing pains, because he was fully dependent on his athleticism in college. Okay. He's like, I'm more athletic than the average defensive end in the Pac-12. And that's basically how he did everything. He was like backpedaling. He was like doing like shuffles. He's basically just out there just winging it, right? Doing some things, and I don't know if the coach should do that, those type of things. But they got a good look at those Washington offensive linemen. They had James Craig there, right, to look at both these guys, in my opinion. So I think that he might be a guy that they really like at 44. And I think there's a chance he'll be there, just because I feel like he's a little bit undersized too, right? And I think from the technique situation, I think teams feel like he's more of a project. He's a little bit of a project. He is. I compared him to Brian O'Neill, who's a starting right tackle for the Vikings, who's somebody I really liked coming out. I really was a big fan of Brian O'Neill. Actually, when I was doing the ITP draft guide with Ted Glen and every single big person you guys could think of on Twitter right now, I got in an argument with some guy. I was going back and forth about Brian O'Neill. I'm like, he's gonna be good. Like, I don't know what he's like, oh, he doesn't have great hands. Like, whatever, dog. You're just talking some shit. And then Brian O'Neill is one of the best right tackles in football. So you could bet on that athleticism. And if he has some good coaching and you guys can coach him up, which I think James Craig's a pretty good coach. I mean, we haven't seen him coach in the NFL yet, but he fits his own scheme, and he's somebody that they could plug in there, in my opinion.
I'm excited for James Craig. Actually, he's a guy that I'm willing to see. I want to get some young talent in there to see what he does with it.
Exactly. Was this the same tackle that got beat up by Michigan? No, he didn't get beat up by Michigan, though. He didn't. I'll keep it real. I didn't see that. Maybe I'll go back and watch the game. You might be right. I'm not sure about that. I don't believe I saw that. But even then, it was Chris Jenkins, who's my other guy. He might be a Raider too.
Beast.
Chris Jenkins was kicking his ass a little bit. I'll give you that. Because technique wise, he's got some work to do. And when you face a guy like Chris Jenkins, who is just as athletic as you are, you're just not going to be able to just do a back pedal as a left tackle. You just can't just dance. What the hell he be doing? He be dancing and shit. So you can't do that.
No,
because the guy's just going to beat you. You know what I mean? So Spencer Brown. That's a good comp, man.
Wasn't Spencer Brown bigger? I thought he was like 6'7".
But he's taller, a little bit bigger. But athleticism wise, I like that comp.
Okay.
I like it, David. I like it. I like that right there. All right, so let's get to the third round here.
People are going to be conflicted about mine. People are going to be real conflicted.
Yeah.
This guy's got a hive. This guy's got a hive, and I'm in it. I might be the queen bee.
All right. So let's introduce your guy a little bit. Let's go.
Okay. So my third round pick, this is where I like to go get a toy. Go get a toy in the third round. Raiders did it last year, and I didn't like it at the time, but they got Trey Tucker. And Trey Tucker looks like a good player. One thing the Raiders are missing right now is Yak, I think, in their receiving core. I think Devontae Adams is getting a little older. I don't know that he's going to be a Yak guy for a long time. Jacoby Myers is a good player. He's more of a chain mover. I don't know how much of a Yak guy he's going to be. Trey Tucker is fast. I think he gets better as he moves down the field rather than on underneath stuff. I don't think he has a lot of wiggle. So what I want is a true slot. Hunter Renfrow, sadly, is no longer going to be the Raiders' slot receiver. So with the 77th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Raiders are selecting Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. He's a wide receiver. He is put on the tape, guys. If you haven't watched it, put on the tape. This guy, there are people who think he's like Debo, and that's not fair. It's not fair to call him Debo. He's a little bit more limited as far as running routes in terms of that. But it's kind of weird when you watch Western Kentucky's offense. It was just very high school. This is our best player. Get the ball to him and let him run. That was kind of what they did at Western Kentucky. I know, Marcus, you were at the Senior Bowl, and there were a lot of people that were impressed by what he was able to do at the Senior Bowl. in terms of more complicated route running, where similar to what Quinyon Mitchell was doing at corner. And he is an absolute monster. He's a yak guy. He can run by people, but he's also going to run through you. He will run you over. And one more thing, if you're still conflicted on this, one thing that we haven't really talked about on this part of the show is the return game is back this year. And he's not a traditional kick returner, but we're doing a completely different kick return thing in the NFL. Cordero Patterson got paid the minute the rules got announced by the Steelers.
Yeah.
He got a contract. His agent was smart. You're going to be running like kickoff plays now. And I want this guy on my roster. Now, there are people who think he's going late first. There are people that think he's going late first. I could see it somebody like Kansas City. Somebody's mocked him to Kansas City. I think that's just a little kind of lazy, but yeah, I don't see that. I think he's a 3rd round pick. He does have things to work on, but if you can get him free releases out of the slot, and I know Adams has been working in the slot, but look, find a way, right? Find a way to get him free releases. He will run people over. This guy can play. Like this guy can absolutely play. And if you see him interviewed, he is no BS. He is really smart, and I think he wants to be great. And also, I'll say this right now. Let's say that he's not going to play, let's say it's not working in the slot. He's not able to find space in zone, do the things that you need to do out of slot. Also, he is a really good blocker too, so that helps. But what if he's just a running back? There are so many plays where they're just handing him the ball at Western Kentucky. And if you look at his height and weight, that's a running back to me too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can do. People are saying Xavier Legette. He's not going to be there at 77. Xavier Legette is not going to be there. I agree that he's better than Malachi Corley. I think Xavier Legette could go early 2nd round.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, like I don't. I'm just trying to be realistic here. At 77, I think this is who I would take. I think he's slot 3 in this draft behind Pearsall and McConkey, and those guys get typecast. Not every team needs a true slot. He is just only a slot. He did not play outside at all at Western Kentucky, but he's just a playmaker, and the Raiders just need yak guys.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I did McConkey as a breakdown, and I went and looked at his measurables, I'm like, no, there's no way Telesco takes him. He would do it. So I think Malachi Corley might be a guy. I mean, he's a little bit under the weight, not the weight, I mean the height, but I mean still 5'11" is pretty good. The 40 is normal. The shuttle is like what a Telesco likes. I mean, the weight 215. I think Mike Williams was around there. So yeah, Corley on film, he's definitely a slot guy. He reminds me of the dude from Burks from the Titans. I can't remember his first name.
Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks. That's what he reminds me of coming out. I think
he's just a weapon. Get him the ball. Find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to catch some screens. They threw a lot of screens to him. They did a lot of, mixing it up and trying to find ways to get him the football, and he just took it to the house sometimes. Sometimes he would just take it. But I think he is like a natural big slot. That's what they call him. Even though he's really not that tall, but he's not like a Hunter Renfrow slot receiver or a Julian Edelman. He's more of a bigger slot player. But that's where he's going to win the most. You know what I mean?
No, he's a stud. Do not let Kyle Shanahan get this guy. I mean, he wants to be great. Like, he is a former running back. He is tough. He will run. And look, I know he was playing against, MAC competition. So it's maybe he's not gonna be able to run through guys at the same rate, but I'm telling you, put on the tape and watch the way he ran through guys. It was like, no joke. You would get 3 to 5 years in prison, what he did, like, to some of these guys. It was crazy. And I think the Raiders need that. And they're missing that. And like I said, the kick return game is back this year in a way that we've never seen it. And I don't know who on the roster. You could say Trey Tucker, but I just don't see him with a lot of wiggle. Like, who's going to be returning kicks for the Raiders this year under this new thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's tough. So to me, right away, he does that. And then he is your guy that you try to get, 5 to 7 touches a game and see what happens. And then keep going. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's see. You got some comments. Somebody asked who we took in the chat in the second round picks. It was Rosengarten and Andrew Phillips.
Andrew Phillips,
Kentucky, the cornerback so right tackle Rosengarten, cornerback Andrew Phillips from Kentucky. All right, so let's get into my 4th round pick because I traded my 3rd. So I really like this guy though. I really do. I think he had a great game against one of the best players in this draft, and I think he has a great chance of having a high upside type of player. His brother's in the NFL already, and I went with cornerback Max Melton
I like
from
it a lot.
Rutgers. All right, now, like I said, he hit the Telesco 187. Like, I don't know why Telesco likes that number. I mean, maybe he likes to kill people. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
But
you're really on some you're really on some dog father stuff tonight, dude. 187, straightening your hair. I'm worried about you, Marcus.
I don't know, man. It is what it is. All right, so he's 5'11, 187, great 40 time, pretty good arm length, and a great vert, great broad. I really
You think
like.
he's there in the fourth round? You think he's there?
I think there's gonna be a run on some other players, like running backs, wide receivers. You know how it goes, man. They just take wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver, right? Somebody said he's not getting out of the second round.
That's where I thought too. Yeah, I thought he'd be way
I mean, there's a chance of that, but like I said, he is undersized, right? And he played at Rutgers. Like, this is not like a guy that just is a lock to go to second round. Okay. Because, like I said, there's going to be a run on wide receivers, the defense tackles, and the guards. I mean, this is a great guard draft, right? And great center draft. There's going to be guards and centers going in the third and fourth round like crazy.
Yeah,
Probably some guys you probably didn't think of, right? Like, like the Christian Mahogany's, the Christian Haynes, the dude from Arkansas, the center from Arkansas, I can't even think of right now. The center from Georgia,
the West Virginia center. Yeah, that guy Frazier.
Yeah, those guys, Zach Frazier, those guys are going to start going in the second round. A lot of the wide receivers are going to start going. The Levis, the Keon Coleman's, A lot of these guys are going to try to build up on offense. I just feel like that Max Melton might slip through the cracks because he isn't like a superstar guy right now. I think teams would take the dude from Missouri over him because he played in the SEC. I think they might take, Andrew Phillips because he played in the SEC. They're going to take, some of the other quarterbacks like Renardo Green because he played at Florida State. They're a great defense. They're going to take who else? Just there's some corners in front of him that I could see like just going like Mike Sanistrell. Those type of guys where I feel like that he might just slip through the cracks a little bit, and I think the Raiders just kind of pounce on that. So yeah, he might not be there, but I just maybe he will be. I'm just guessing because he's not the highlighted corner in this draft. There's not gonna be that many corners going to in the first round, in my opinion. I mean, there's Cooper DeJean, Terrion Arnold, Nate Wiggins, maybe Kool-Aid, right? Maybe Kool-Aid. But then you get into the second part of it. Where do those guys go? And I think the cornerback from Rutgers falls through the cracks. In my opinion. So
no, I'm with you. And also, just the fact is, what I would view with your draft, what I was saying earlier is I want these guys to trade. I want Telesco to trade up and grab another pick. So if I were you, right, you traded your third round pick for, as part of the deal to get Drake May. What I would want to do is I'd want to take that back end of my draft and get up again and try to get in that top 120 again or whatever, 120, 130 to go get it. I would view this as your third round pick personally, as trading.
You got 2 fifths now. You do have 2 fifths.
That's what I mean. Like I'm like, I don't want my fifth and my sixth round pick. I don't want. So I want to go get in and go and maybe keep 1/5, but then I want to go up and go get Max Melton. That's what I think. Like in my mind, realistically seeing this work, that's how I would view it. But either way, I mean, your draft. I mean, 3 guys that I would love to have on this team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Max Melton because he had a great game against Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
So that's one of the things that really stood out from him on film. But I could just see a cornerback from Rutgers just falling through the cracks. That's all I'm saying. Teams love those. They're gonna love those Missouri guys. I think the guy from Missouri, the light skin one, there's sounds terrible, but there's Enos. I don't something
Rakestraw.
Rakestraw.
I'm a fan of him as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then there's the other guy who's on the other side of him. I think he might go before somebody like Max Melton, right? Okay. And those type of players. Yeah, so I think Max Melton, he's just a tough player, great in press coverage, a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism. I think it'd be a good pick.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we don't know how this is going. Like for me, like Malachi Corley, like with my pick, you talk about Max Melton had a good game against Ohio State. Malachi Corley against Ohio State had a heck of a game. And that was a game where he's the only weapon on that team. Ohio State could have easily erased him, but he looked like a man. He looked like a man who belonged playing against those guys.
I mean, I like Cam Hart. I think Cam Hart's a good player, though. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't mind if he tried.
He's a good player. I just see him as a special teams guy. Like I don't know. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I watch all their games. Like he was like okay. Again, Benjamin Morrison is the guy on that team. He's a short corner, but like he is the corner on Notre Dame. So Cam Hart's probably going to project more to safety, which I don't mind. I don't mind the Raiders adding a safety with Marcus Epps being on the last year of his deal. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't prioritize it.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody says they're late, but they're here. You're late. Our first 3 picks have already been taken. I took Drake May. I traded up for Drake May, Ty. And then, Glen took Fuaga, and I took Rosengarten. And then Glen took Andrew Phillips at the cornerback. Rosengarten's a right tackle, if you didn't know that. And then I took Max Milton. And
I took Malachi Corley.
Malachi Corley. I just couldn't even think about it. Yeah. I like Green, too, a lot. I do like Green a lot, but you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I picked him last time. I'm a fan. Yeah, I picked him last time.
Yeah. All right. Let's go here. Let's get it. Let's get to your 4th pick.
Last pick.
Your final pick.
My guy.
Your 4th?
My guy. I'm buying a jersey if he gets his first touchdown with the Raiders. I love him. The Raiders took one of my guys last year, Michael Mayer. I'm a Golden Domer. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Have been since I was able to watch football. With the 4th pick, I forget which number it is. In the draft. 112 with the 112th pick in the draft. The Las Vegas Raiders select Audric Estime, running back out of Notre Dame University. Had a heck of a pro day compared to his combine. I'm not worried about his 40 time. This is a guy I don't care about his 40 time. He was, I believe, I have some notes on him that I took from Dane Brugler's The Beast thing that he put out. It's an awesome draft guide. But he was, I want to say, 20. So he had 29 rushing touchdowns over the last 2 seasons, 3rd most in the FBS. And I believe that he was, I want to say he was in the top 5 FBS in explosive runs over 20 yards. So if you think he's slow, that's just not what's happening when he's running the ball. Now, he does have a good offensive line. Notre Dame always has a good offensive line. So there is things happening, but he is getting to that second level and getting beyond linebackers. And he is built like the linebackers that are trying to tackle him. And he's a stud. The Raiders are going to be missing Josh Jacobs this year. As much as I was down to let him walk.
Yeah.
To me, at least in short yardage situations, I would trust a guy like Audric Estime right away that when it's, 3rd and 2, he's going to get me, a first down and more, goal line. And then eventually a year or 2 from now, when whether, Zamir White is we'll see about Zamir White, but if it's time for him, if that didn't work out, or if it's time for him to get a second contract, you have a guy like Estime there ready to take the Lions share of running back carries. So I'm a huge fan of him. Round 4 is great value, and I don't know how you could be against this.
His team is a beast, bro. I'm gonna get that dude's a monster. He literally is.
He went against good players too. This isn't like a small school guy where you're like, oh yeah, the speed, but he's running by, MAC defenders. Like this guy played against Ohio State, played against Clemson. Notre Dame always has like top tier opponents on their schedule. So like, if you think he's slow, I'm not saying he's a burner, but the Raiders had Josh Jacobs, who had 2 long touchdowns in his whole career.
Yeah, so, I'll say about his speed, he does look a little slow in film. I'm not gonna lie.
It might be, but try to tackle him when he's in the open space. Like
exactly.
Yeah, try to tackle him. That he's not. I would get it if he was small. If he was small and running at the speed he did. But dude, this guy, look at the way he's built. I mean, this is a great picture that you've had here. Look at the Navy guy. The Navy guy is already like he's. I think he might convulse after this. He might go into a grand mal seizure. He's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He has some crazy runs. He makes a lot of guys miss. I think his game is Clemson is pretty crazy. He has to do he leaps over somebody. Very athletic guy. The speed is not. He doesn't have a long speed, but I think in the NFL to be a good running back, you don't necessarily need long speed. I just think you need to be able to find the holes, and sometimes when you're able to find holes, you could be able to have those long runs anyways. But like I said, I think he's a great fit. When it comes to running backs with let's talk about with Telesco, he's a fit, man. I think this is a guy that he's really gonna like, right?
But then also look at the rest of my draft. I drafted Fuaga, Malachi Corley. So those two guys can block, right? And you have the opportunity to hand the ball. Like I'm trying to establish an identity here. Like as far as these guys are all physical players that come up, either they tackle or they run people over or they block people. And it's just this is what I want the Raiders to be. And for me, estimate there's not a lot of players in the 4th round that I would take over a guy who was, among the top people in the FBS and touchdowns. Like, just try it. Just try it. The people have a nose for the end zone. If you think he's slow, he might be. He might be, but he dominated in college.
Yeah. The Raiders do need to. That's what the Raiders do help. They need help on offense. Big time.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
How about the Wisconsin QB running back? I mean, Braylon Allen. I try to get into him, but every film he fumbled. So
I don't like fumbles.
Scared the hell out of me. I watched 3 games and you fumbled 3 games in a row. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes. They run a zone scheme.
They do. They do. Exactly right. Because Alt's being mocked as outside zone right away. So
Benson's a good fit too.
I think Benson's around before. That's what I mean. If you want to take Benson in the 3rd, that's fine. If you want, I like Jalen Wright more than Estime. If you're talking about running backs that I like, to me, in the 4th round is where I want to take that running back.
All right. So let's get into my last pick. Obviously, I'm in the 5th round here, so I'm a little deeper.
Yeah.
I think I might get some pushback. He's not going to be there, type of thing, but I feel like he is. So, let's go with my 5th round guy. Now, this is going to be somebody that people are familiar with, and he has a little bit of a Raiders pedigree, I would say, right? I guess he's a Raiders fan. That's what I heard. And so I went wide receiver, which I mean, this guy is like Telesco's like dream guy. Like if he built a wide receiver, to see we build him, and it's Brendan Rice from USC, 6'2", 208, 4'5". Good vert,
bigger than his dad. Bigger than his dad.
Yeah, a little bit of a lower broad jump, but I mean, he was a deep receiver for USC, and I think there's some issues, a little bit of issues with consistent separation with him, a little bit of route running. But I think at the Senior Bowl, he was able to show a little bit how he can get open. But I still think he's a little bit stiff. But I do think he is a good deep route runner, which I think there's a little bit of an element to that. There's a skill to it, like tracking the football, stacking wide receivers. I think a lot of times Caleb Williams would trust him just to win deep. And you can see this 49 receptions, 791 yards, right? There's some deep element to him. I know he runs a 4.5, but he has a good 10-yard split. So you could tell, like, Malachi, who we just talked about, Malachi Corley, his split is slower than Brendan Rice, right? Brendan Rice ran a slower 40 times. So that get off the line is there. He has a good vertical. I think he has great hands, and if in the 5th round, I think this is somebody that you would really like in the 5th round. This type of player who might be a steal, right, or might be just a guy that that comes in play sometimes, and it's a 5th round pick, right? It's not like you're not wasting a bunch of draft capital on taking him. So there's a lot of that too. I think the Raiders brought him in for a visit. He is like literally the perfect fit. He's basically every single guy. He's like basically Josh Palmer. He's almost Quentin Johnson a little bit. He's almost at that type of, kind of with the broad jump and the 40 time. So I do like it. I like him in the 5th round here.
Yeah, no, I like this pick a lot. I like Brendan Rice. I was actually surprised when I would watch a lot of USC games this year, and I'd see where people had him slated. They'd have him slated in like day 3, and I'd say, well, I don't know, he's jumping off the screen to me. Like I notice him. Yeah, his last name's Rice and his dad's Jerry. Maybe that's why I notice him a little bit more. But he can play, and I like this pick a lot. I think if he's there in round 5. I think his name might get him drafted a little bit earlier, though. I will say, like,
Maybe.
just the fact is, like, I could see a team in like round 3 and 4 just being like, why don't I just draft Jerry Rice's son? You know, like, why don't I just like, okay, I'm between two guys and one of them's the son of Jerry Rice. You know, like, but look, it can happen. I see people talking about prima donna. I mean, I don't know about that. I know nothing about that.
I mean, every wide receiver. I mean, they want the ball.
I mean, it's that's part of the game. I mean, like, it's just it's part of it. But yeah, no, great mocks. I think I would take yours and I would take mine. I if that happened, I'd feel great about this team. I saw one question DJ asked on there. They asked if I'm just gonna roll with AOC and Minshew then, if that's the case. Like okay, like I didn't get a quarterback. Like you have Drake May. So yes. Here's my thing with that. I'm rolling with 1 year of that. And I'm fine with it because if where the Raiders want to be after this year is they either want to be picking at the top of the draft. Yes, I know that sucks. I don't want to watch that. But they either want to be picking at the top of the draft or they want to be a playoff team that needs one more thing, right? That needs to be able to make a move for their guy like the Chiefs did for Mahomes and stuff. And I think that's what Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew get you is like, okay, it either goes really bad and you've clearly identified the need. I just don't want like a developmental quarterback, even a Penix to me or Knicks. It's like if they take those guys, I'm like, we're just in this like Derek Carr kind of like purgatory of quarterbacks. They could be good. Couple years, maybe it'll work. For me, it's like, look, you've identified if you're not going to get one of the top 3 guys, take what falls to you. There's other positions you can beef up, and then you truly are a quarterback away. And it's like, okay, maybe Aiden O'Connell gets them to 8 wins this year, or Gardner Minshew gets them to 9 or 1, whatever. You still are able to take. Then you trade the farm. Then you're like, look, I know I'm a quarterback away. I just know it. Or a veteran becomes available. And that's what I mean. Like, it's okay for 1 year to not have a quarterback. I think Raider fans now, they just want a quarterback, like a guy that we don't know about that we can get excited about. And that's, I don't know. Like that excitement fades fast the minute you watch them play. You find their limitations.
I mean, I don't blame Raiders fans for that because you got to replace Derek Carr.
I agreed. No, I agree. Like, it's just like we've had Derek Carr for like a decade. There are Raider fans who grew up with Derek Carr. It's weird. It's happened a long time. Like, you're like, I want something different. But we had something different last year, and we realized that it's not just about being different. It's about being good.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, if you find that splash pick, I don't think Penix and Bo Nix are splash players, franchise changer guys. I just don't. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. For me, I would not pass on a Fuaga for Michael Penix. I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Michael Penix is enough of a quarterback to be like, damn, I need this guy on my team over any other player. That's not the way I view these guys.
So, you guys really wouldn't take Dak Prescott?
I totally would. I absolutely would. I absolutely would. I just, what are they asking for him? But he'd be a free agent, right?
Yeah, I mean, see, it's the money with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Dak's good. It's just, Dak, he's got a little bonehead in him. I tell you, man, there's some bonehead quarterbacks out here, right? And I think Dak just is a little bit of a bonehead.
He's got a little bit. He has trouble realizing what he is sometimes. And look, there's always a guy, and like people say next year's quarterback class sucks. Okay, nobody saw Joe Burrow coming. Nobody saw Jaden Daniels coming. Nobody saw any of these guys coming in the upcoming classes. There's always a quarterback. And next year there's guys I already think like could be good. Like, I'm a big fan of Brady Cook out of Missouri. I think he's going to rise up next year. And there's all these guys that are going to pop up. And I will say, you need less of a splash when your roster's good.
Yeah.
Like the Niners. I'm trying to build the 49ers right now. And then to the point where I can add maybe not a 7th round pick that becomes Brock Purdy, but somebody I can draft late first and just get him in there. And he's already got wide receivers to throw to, tackles to block for him, and guys that can make plays after the catch, and a defense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think the class sucking is very overblown. but they always say that.
It's
I
not
think
the Kenny Pickett class. It's not the Kenny Pickett class. I can already tell it's not. Like
yeah,
Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett. Like that was a weird anomaly year where there were just no quarterbacks. Otherwise, there usually are.
yeah.
Aim higher. Aim higher. I got you 4 good players. Show some respect.
Yeah, people aren't getting Eddie Williams jokes. He's making fun of how we get the names wrong, which I mean, it's just part of the show. So I'm not gonna.
No, I think it's a charm of the show.
It's the
Truly.
charm of the show. It's how we get the names wrong. So somebody wasn't getting that. It's part of the show. We get names wrong. BD started it because BD was worse than me. I mean, BD was you could not figure out anybody's name.
But what is the urgency though? Fans keep talking about urgency though. Like people keep talking about there's urgency. No, there's urgency as you as a fan. There isn't. The Raiders have been bad for like 20 something years. Make the right pick. Don't grab Michael Penix and these guys like that are just they're guys. I don't see them becoming amazing. And I will say after 5 games of Michael Penix, when people become like these Penix cartel people that want to say, "Oh, he's so good, you guys are just hating and stuff." Like, do you want to do that, or do you want to go swing and actually make that big move when it's actually for a player that's good, rather than like we just need a guy? That's all I'm saying. I don't want to do that. I think there's premium positions this year: corner, tackle, guys that you have to pay for in free agency. There's so many of those guys in the draft this year that I would rather just load up there. Unless, like you said, Drake May falls to 9, then I make the move.
Yeah. I mean, they might like JJ too. If JJ McCarthy falls,
if he's at 9, I don't hate it. I don't hate the trade that you had. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. BD was worse than me, the names, guys. You guys think I'm bad with names? BD was worse.
I'm actually pretty good. I feel like I've been good.
You're pretty good at names. You're mad at pretty good at names.
I watch because I don't watch film. So you guys all watch film. You guys watch numbers.
I just see numbers.
Yeah.
Number 75. He's
great.
Like that's a great player.
I feel like half these coaches don't even know these guys' names.
I mean, looking at who's 13. I mean, like Googling who's 13. You know what I mean? Like that's what I do.
Yeah, because it'll be like with AP. AP, they're like, oh, he needs a quarterback because he'll get fired early. It's like, no, it'll be known right away that they don't have a quarterback.
The only way AP gets fired is unless they go like 1-16. Guys.
Yeah, and it's like guys are walking off the field, retiring, mid half and stuff like or like at halftime. Like that's the way AP gets fired, where it's like, oh man, we made a mistake, which is fine. It's like, okay, at least we know we made a mistake and we move on. But I think the urgency is just among fans who want to like be like, damn, I wish we just had a quarterback. And I get it. And if he's there, I want to go get one. I just don't want to reach.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it for sure, man. All right. Let's see. We got any other questions here? Let's just kind of talking today. We're just getting some chatting today. I like it though. I like it.
I like both our mocks, man. I think I'd be pumped on both of them.
Yeah, me too, bro. I'd be pumped with both of these.
You guys are gonna like Andrew Phillips, guys. After this, your homework is Andrew Phillips and Malachi Corley. You guys gotta go watch them. They're fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cam Ward's going to Miami. I think that's a good move here. If they got Byron Murphy, could the defensive line be so dominant? Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, no, it'd be nasty. I like luxury picks. Even Latu, you could talk me into it.
You know Byron Murphy, bro.
No, you're right. Byron Murphy, Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton at 44. If he slips, you just don't know. Yeah,
Uh-huh. So mine was I traded the 2024 third, a 2025 second, and it was a 25th rounder, 24 fifth rounder, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it might have just been the first rounder, second rounder 2025, and a third rounder for 2024 to get Drake May. And then I got Roger Rosengarten at 44. Then at 112, I got Max Melton. And then at I can't even remember what the 5th round was. I got Brendan Rice.
Yeah, pretty good. And mine was Talise Fuaga, Andrew Phillips, and then Malachi Corley, and then Audric Estime.
So a couple of things you see about trading back for Penix. I see some other questions before that, but trading back for Penix. I see a couple of questions about Penix, and then Penix being taken by Denver. So I see a 12 or 43. I see that here. So what are your thoughts on that, Glenn? I don't know if Denver likes Penix because Sean Payton isn't just he thinks he's Bill Walsh, so he wants the soft thrower. He wants Joe Montana.
Yeah, I there's a lot I like about Penix. Like I like that his pressure to sack rate is pretty low. I I don't the athleticism at the pro day was cool, but I just don't see that like when he plays. So when does that come out? People forget Derek Carr ran the same 40 time as Johnny Manziel. So it was like we didn't see that from Carr though. Like it just there's guys play the way they play, they test the way they test. It's two different things. And I'm not saying I would never take Michael Penix. If they took him at 44, I'd be actually pretty happy because I think that'd be good. Right now, they have a developmental quarterback in Aiden O'Connell who could start, and then they have a guy who can kind of start in Gardner Minshew. To me, I just wouldn't pass on top end talent for Michael Penix or Bo Nix. I stop at JJ McCarthy because JJ McCarthy, I'm still iffy on, but I understand it. I understand what you think he could be. After that, there's a big drop off to me in terms of potential because these guys are old. They've played. You're kind of drafting them for what they already are in a sense. They could get marginally better. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like this team. Already has the developmental mid round quarterbacks on. They're on the team right now. So do you want to add another one to that group? I don't know. I don't see top 10 quarterback out of Michael Penix. I just don't, like year in and year out.
Year in, year out. I don't see it either, but maybe. I mean, he has a big arm, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing with him. So, some of these other questions here. So, AP needs about 3. I mean, I think he should get 3 years.
I think three is fair. 3 is fair if the writing's on the wall. Like by year 2, and year 2, I think we'll be able to tell. Like, oh my god, this was a huge mistake. If that was the case, I don't think it is. I actually really like the AP hire, and I've been a fan of it. He was who I wanted. I wanted him over Harbaugh. I'll say it again and again and again. I wanted it at the time. I'm not just saying that now that the Chargers have Harbaugh. I like him. So, but to me, it's about Telesco being disciplined and drafting guys that he knows are good for AP rather than the guys that AP might fall in love with by talking to them. So there needs to be a chain of command. And if Telesco supplies AP with talent, I think AP is going to bring the intensity and the discipline to the team that is needed to win games.
Yeah, for sure. Is it worth waiting for O-line until second or third round, such a deep position? I think so. I think, like I said, they're like Rosengarten. There's Kingsley Suma Mataya as well, who he fits what they want to do. They could wait till second round for a right tackle or a tackle. I don't think they have to rush. Third round, I feel like when you think taking third round tackles, you're not taking a starter. Tackle's a more premier position than like guard or center or anything like that. So once you get the third and fourth rounds, you're not. It's like taking a quarterback in the third, fourth round, to be honest. So second round is probably the latest you want to take a tackle. In my opinion.
No, I agree.
What's the take in comp to move from 13 to 3? I'm glad you asked this because I just pulled up the draft chart when you asked. I saw this question before Raiders Pod, and I got your draft chart here. So to get up to 3, you would need the third round pick is worth 2,200 points. Okay. The Raiders are at 13, so they have 1,150 points. So basically, you would need at least 3 first round picks. At least 2. You do have to at least give up your first round pick this year, your first round pick next year, and your second.
For quarterback 3. For quarterback 3 in the draft. It might be quarterback 1 on your board, but it's quarterback 3 in the draft that you're doing that for. And the Niners did it for Trey Lance a few years ago.
So I think draft night they could probably work a better deal, but you're still giving up 2 first round picks. You're giving up the first round pick in 2025. You have to, because to equal the Raiders don't have the value this year. Like the Vikings, they have 11 and 23. So the Vikings have 1,250 and 760. So they basically have it just from 11 and 23. And then they add in a second, or they add in whatever they want to add in, or from different years, or third this year, they could equal that value to get to the trade where teams want to trade back and take those 2 picks. So that's the thing.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, and you got to be sure that's like your quarterback 1 that you're trading for, that something other teams don't.
Yeah, because that's why I went with when I traded up to 9, because all they needed, it was 1,150 to 1,350.
Yeah.
So
no, you can live with that. You can live with that. That's not something you're not like, oh, I wish we had that second round pick like 5 years from now. You're not really freaking out about that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to ask some of these questions before we get out of here. Yeah. All right. So let's get to some of these last questions here before we get out of here. I know this question. This shitty Glen, if we want to draft a big QB, patient dumbass fans will be protesting and start a rookie when it's a smart thing to do. Yeah, you're right.
We're traumatized. We're traumatized Raider fans.
Wait. I want to speak on this because this could be the flip side too.
Yeah.
That we know how Raiders fans are. If that dude has 4 stars in a row where he starts bad, bust, play Aiden O'Connell, what is he doing? That's what I can't.
That's what I mean. Like everybody wants that dopamine rush of we drafted a quarterback at 13 overall. I'm so excited. Glenn, you're an idiot. You wanted to tackle at 13. What an idiot. You're like, no, I partially fight that. I push that demon down as myself. I want a quarterback. I don't want to go with what they have. The problem is I'm like, dude, we've been there. Like we've been there. This is what the Raiders do is they take these guys and then fans hype them up all offseason. They make their little edits. They make their video edits. They do all these things. They put the laser eyes on Tom Telesco. And then all of a sudden they stink. All of a sudden they throw 3 interceptions against the Chiefs. And they're like, this guy should be out of the league. And it's like, we are traumatized as fans. We need to take a break from pretending that we know who these guys are or anything. We let's just
year one.
Year one. Exactly. We're not patient because we're traumatized. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that, man. If Jaden becomes available in the trade-up scenario, why do you think Telesco would pass on trade?
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would. He has drafted a guy under 215. Okay, so I mean, he was 7th round guy, but I think he would get over it for Jaden Daniels.
It would be a conversation. It would be a big conversation in amongst the Raiders front office. I think it'd be like, is this worth it? But they would do it. I still think.
Yeah. Is Nate Wiggins worth the 13th pick? I believe so.
I don't. Yeah.
You don't think so? I like Nate Wiggins a lot.
I need.
He doesn't tackle, and I get it. He's not a tackler.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's Darrell. If you can't tackle, you better be Darrell Revis. I don't see that out of Nate Wiggins.
Yeah. I like Wiggins though. I do like Wiggins a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
He's fast. It just reminds me of. I don't know. It just sounds like a Raiders 2003 pick to me.
So you call him Fabian Washington?
Yep. No, I just at 13. It just reminds me. Oh wow, he's so fast though, and he's from a big time school, big time program.
Philip Butler.
Big time program. Dabo Sweeney.
Is it easier to learn to throw over the middle than to throw deep? I would say it's harder to learn to throw over the middle in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because in the NFL, the window's closed so much. So to throw over the middle, you got to anticipate over the middle, which is why like CJ Stroud was able to kind of show his growth a little bit because that's something he did well in college, right? He didn't anticipate it all anywhere else, which threw me off. But like over the middle of the field, CJ Stroud anticipated really well, and that translates because there are some throws. You got to be able to like, if there's a dig route, you got to be able to throw that dig route early and hit it between the linebackers get there. You got to be able to do those things in the middle of the field. So that's why it's very important. But I do think people are over kind of going at it there because they want Drake May to be better than Jaden Daniels on Twitter. So you have to remember that. We want Drake May to be better than Jaden Daniels, so we're gonna use his whole career and do all this weird stuff. But like Michael Penix didn't throw the middle of the field either. But that's kind of the design of the offense, in my opinion. But
in college, it's all about if you're faster than the guy on the edge, you can just bounce it outside, and it's a different game. It's a different game.
The hashes are like wide as hell. Yeah, like it's a crazy game. You know what I mean? How many teams? Every team, bro.
Every team. Jimmy Johnson is maybe
team.
He's a top 5 influential coach of all time.
Every team does, Doug. What would you be willing to give up to the top 3? I mean, you have, like I said, you have to give up all those picks, man.
I do the 3 first. I do the 3 first. If I know I'm getting my 10-year franchise starter and not just Derek Carr franchise starter, I'm talking about like my franchise starter where we're in playoff games and he's my guy and I can in free agency go get, the wide receivers that I need, the tackles that I need because I have a quarterback on a rookie contract. I trade the 3 first-round picks. That's what, to me, I'd rather do that than go draft the Penix and Bo Nix tier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, some of these last questions. Do you think the team will be looking up to move up in round 2? Yeah, I could see that. I could see like, especially if they like Michael Penix or something like that, they go tackle. They like Michael Penix. I could see that. What's the first you see Drake May fall? That's my thing. Like, Drake May is so interesting because he's so polarizing on Twitter. Like we don't know if it's a bluff with the NFL or if it's real. So
I still
think
I think Washington's going to take him.
You think so?
I think JJ's my wild card for Washington, but I think right now they're Drake May.
And yes, we did. We did talk about the Jaden Daniels rumors in this about him not wanting to kind of forcing his way to.
We did. That was at the beginning of the show. So at the repeat, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. All right, man. We're out of here. We're at almost at an hour 45 minutes, guys. So I mean, this is a long episode. We gave you some content here. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. He said jack up the draft the most charters.
Yeah, for sure. Joe Ortiz. He's gonna
JC Latham at 5 is gonna set Twitter on fire. That's my prediction. My bold prediction.
Yeah, no, I could see that, or even like a Mims. Like, what if they went like a Marius Mims at 5 or something crazy? No, I'm with you.
Yeah. All right, we're out of here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Enjoyed our mock draft. Like I said, we'll be live on Thursday. If it's me alone, if it's whoever,
I'll try to call in. Even if I'm here, I'll try to call in.
Okay, cool,
I'll do my best. Yeah, I'll do my best.
All right. The Pelicans are killing the Kings, which is messing my parlay, so it's good to know. But we appreciate you guys coming. We got about almost 170 in here today, so definitely like the depreciation, and of course we're going to keep taking this next level, guys. So we got some cool stuff coming up. Especially
tell a friend too. Tell a friend. I mean, there's people watching really bad Raiders content out there, and friends don't let friends watch bad Raiders podcasts. So
I like this Marky rocking the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, hell yeah. Man, you should see when I keep my hair short, man. Back in the day,
You gotta hit the gym, bro. You gotta hit the gym, and then you can be perfect,
on the Boston Harbor. Mark Wow.
Yeah. Yes, we're getting live drive reactions. Yes. We'll do all that. We're gonna be active, guys, for the draft.
Even if I will tell you that I'm a content guy. I will record my reaction one way or another and send it to Mark. Even if it doesn't happen, you will get my reaction. This is guaranteed. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're out of here. We'll see you.
Peace, guys.